Hello, you lovelies. Let's talk about Agatha All Along, episode 7, and this is the show I have been wanting all along. I am so excited to talk about this episode. Please, if you're new to this page, hit that subscription bell. I talk about comic book news and reviews, the actual comics themselves, as well as movie news and reviews, and sometimes TV, like Agatha All Along. And this episode has me seeing the show that everyone else has told me it is. So please leave a comment below and let me know if this has been the show you've been seeing that I've just been missing. Also, leave a like on this video. Press all the YouTube buttons. Let's dive in without any further ado whatsoever. I have been saying from episode 1 that when I'm connected to these characters, then this show makes sense to me. My problem has been I haven't felt very connected short of episode 4. Episode 4 did this amazing thing where it showed me a pathway into the mysticism, to the extraordinary, and it made something new from something I love, which in that case was music. Episode 4 had been far and away my favorite episode because it recontextualized music. It added this beautiful mythology to it. This episode did something even harder to do. It made me love a character by connecting my trauma to theirs. I personally have a fairly debilitating fear of losing my mind, of going crazy, of slipping, of losing time, be it something as innocuous as oversleeping or something as terrifying as dementia or Alzheimer's. And this show blended the extraordinary, the witchcraft, the magic of what Marvel can be with the ordinary, which is suffering from that feeling of loss and mental illness and trauma. And it did it in a way that recontextualized the entire show. It gave me an in to this show. It gave me something that made me understand the coven and the world building, and especially this character. So this is exactly what I want from TV, where long form gives you a chance to really envelop yourself in a character, to invest in a character in a way that makes even the most insane thing feel possible. And so I think from the beginning, I was trying to find that with Agatha, and I wasn't connecting. I didn't connect to the Mayor of Easttown True Detective thing. It felt, for me, a little too campy. I think then I was trying to feel that with this fun timeline jumping, 70s, 80s, and all those things. And the music element got me, but the rest did not feel like my kind of writing. And then here with episode 7, the writing was so pitch perfect that they literally spent the season giving us a single line of dialogue that changed the entire show, and they sprinkled it without. And we knew from the beginning that those moments, those blips, were going to mean something. We didn't know what they were going to be, but I never imagined something as profound as what this was in the way of telling a narrative through time jumping, through tarot itself, through witchcraft, and humanizing not just the episode the character, got to shine in, but all of the characters in the show got to really develop into their arc. We really got to discover who they were going to be at the end, and this is the definition of sticking the landing, because now I feel connected to the characters lost, the characters we're about to find, the characters who we've just discovered, like Death, which I'm going to talk about in just a second very excitedly. It gave us all of the pieces of this puzzle. And I'll admit, I mean, you guys have watched my other reviews. This hasn't been my jam because I haven't felt as invested as I feel I should have to care about the other puzzle pieces. But this puzzle piece was like a corner piece, and now all of a sudden everything is lining up, and now I want to honestly rewatch this show to feel that investment that everyone else had gotten, frankly, quite mad at me for not wanting or seeing or believing in. This was literally everything that I was missing from the other, let's say, 5 episodes of the show, because I do think 4 is something really special. I want to talk about Death here for a second. Check out the reaction I did at Real Rejects. Greg said something really specific that I think is my feeling towards the choice of putting Death in this show, and this is a Marvel show that didn't feel like a Marvel show for most of its runtime, and I've actually not minded that element, but having Death be a character in the way they're delivering her kind of anchors it into Marvel in a really fun way, because it gets to stay supernatural, it gets to stay larger than life and otherworldly, but it gets to do it in a way that arguably makes this world stronger as an independent thing that could have the Midnight Suns or Blade or Mephisto name dropped or even it gets to have all that supernatural. But Death can be a character like Deadpool that is the R-rated character that is, muted in PG-13 Avengers movies. And speaking of Death, I hope her and Deadpool get together because that is a very cute couple. Aubrey Plaza, Ryan Reynolds, I see you. But I think her being charm and charisma has been so perfect for someone that Thanos would strive for and do anything for. I think the way they planted seeds for her to be Death, with her being on the witch's road right after a death and saying she was in the neighborhood, with the Ouija board Death, look up, cackle, with a lot of the seeds they planted, with the permanent cloak, most of the time she's in something cloaked like Death. All of those details painted a world that if Death appears in Secret Wars, it'll make so much sense and it'll fit that tone, much like the first time we saw the Avengers assemble. The Thor world does not fit with Cap's world or Iron Man's world, but when you see it all come together, it fits. And I feel like Death is the perfect jigsaw piece to fit into the greater MCU tapestry. So I'm so glad Aubrey Plaza is Death, because it gives me a lot of hope for the future of how Agatha All Along ties in. So, if you guys can't tell, this is literally my favorite episode of the season, because it gave me a character I could identify with. It gave me a character that I never would have expected that to be my eyeline. I think when you watch any art, be it, a play, a movie, a TV show, when you read a book, when you listen to music, it is always going to get you more connected if you have an eyeline. And I honestly think I was struggling to find an eyeline into this show. And if you had told me when they announced Agatha All Along, Patti LuPone was going to be the character, I was like, that Patti LuPone is really how I feel about the world. But it was, and it's based on trauma. It's based on fear. And that's what these superhero myths do so well, is they give you a way to navigate your trauma, a way to navigate your fear. They give you a moral compass. They teach you right and wrong. But also there's a reason every superhero's parents are dead. Like, that's a running theme, because it's trauma and it's something that connects all of us. I love that my page is largely positive, right? Like, I do positive content. I like a lot more than I hate. And a lot of times if I don't like a movie, I just don't review it. There have been movies this year I didn't like, so I just didn't review. The problem is, when you don't like something, it's more universal. Everyone can identify with ripping something apart or hating something, or the lack of bravery that comes with disliking something. That's why it's so popular on Twitter. That's why Twitter is so popular. It's easy to glob onto something disliked. Look at the views on this page for the episodes of Agatha I didn't like versus movies I liked that got like a third of the number of views. Liking stuff is more vulnerable and hard, and it's different. Trauma connects all of us. We've all lost. We've all suffered. We've all experienced that. So I think it's really interesting that the superhero myths always deal with loss and mourning and missing something. But again, I never would have expected that to be my eyeline into this show, to be a character losing time, losing reality, losing her connection to the world. And the way they showed that through this Memento meets The Fountain style of storytelling, the way they showed that with those incredible transitions, with those lines of dialogue that connected to prior episodes and the story going forward, the way they let and trusted the audience. You know what? I think that's my favorite thing about this episode. It trusted the audience in such an incredible way that it didn't spoon feed you the insanity. It jumbled time mid-episode and through the entire season, and then ended with this beautiful denouement of peace and joy. And it brought us right back to the beginning, and it actually made me want to go to the beginning of the show. So it brought us back to the beginning of Patti LuPone centuries ago, but it gave us the opening of the episode being the end of her life, and the end of the episode being the beginning of her life, made me want to go to the beginning of the show and recontextualize her whole journey, because now I feel like I have a way into the show, and that is true cinema magic. I'm so happy. The opening being such a familiar iconography of falling, the end being the tarot that gave us the whole journey, the tarot being the plot of the entire series, much less the episode. This is a masterclass in writing. This is an incredible feat of acting, because everyone had to not only hit their episode arc, but they had to hit their arcs in those episodes where they obviously almost certainly pre-filmed and then, pulled those moments. I don't think they went back to that set and wardrobe, but they had to be at that arc in their character that it would contextually fit into this moment for this one singular character amongst a coven. Also, the editors need some love. Jac Schaeffer, the director, needs some love for mastering this tone and how that fit. This was perfect TV. This singular episode elevated the show from like one of my bottom third to now mid third. Like if I look at Marvel in thirds, this is now in the middle third of the overall MCU experience because of this one episode and then a little love for episode 4. It was that good. I'm so happy. This was really something special. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy me loving this show as much as you guys have enjoyed me not loving this show. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of episode 7. Was it your favorite episode as well? Please leave a like. I really want to talk about this episode some more because it's really connected to me in a really interesting way. So let's have a conversation in the comments below. If you're new to this page and haven't subscribed yet, please do. I recently passed 36,000, which was my goal for my 36th birthday. We are now at 36K. I'm very happy. On the road to 40K, and when we get close to 50, I'm going to do a 50 comic giveaway. So at some point, I'm going to be doing like a 50 comic book giveaway to a new batch of folks. So subscribe, like, comment below. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening. I'm so glad this show finally turned the corner for me. I'm on the road now, you lovelies. Let's walk it together, and I'll see you next week for episodes 8 and 9 leading up to the finale. Will it stick the landing? If it does, very different review than some of the other episodes I've experienced. Much love, guys. Bye.